Okay, so we should have all of our weapon pickups in our scene now. We have all of the overrides for the handgun, and they've all been made into clip tracks, and each one of these should be set to loop for infinity. Okay, the great thing about this is we can just close that one down now, so they're all attached to the handgun, and obviously all of them play at the same kind of rate as well, so we can see the entire gun there is lighting up. Alright, great. I'm still not happy with the size of that baseball bat. I think it looks too thin at the moment in relation to all of the others. So I'm just going to click on the baseball bat, change its X to like 1.5, change the Z to 1.5, and change the Y to like 1.8 maybe. I think that looks a bit better. Alright, now I don't want the baseball bat to be too long, so I think one of the characters who's holding the baseball bat, it may be too long. We may have to go back and change that. Alright, so I'm happy with those now. So what we need to do is basically tell Unity that these items are pickup items. The way that we can do that is through using tags and layers. Okay, so I'm going to click on tag, and I'm going to create a new tag, so add a tag. Now we only have one tag at the moment called enemy target, so we're just going to click plus to create a new one. I'm going to call it pickup. Whatever naming convention you use, so if it's got a capital P, make sure that's very important, because that's the way that you have to write it in the script. So I'm going to save that one, and then what I can do now is go back to my knife pickup and just ensure that it's tagged as pickup. Same with the baseball bat, tag it as pickup. Same with the axe, and same with the handgun. Now the way that we're actually going to pick these items up is by using raycasting, and the raycasting is going to be looking for a specific layer. At the moment on the default layer, it means that your raycast is going to look at everything. We want it only to see pickup items. So to do that, we need to ensure that all of these items are on their own specific layer. So I'm going to add a layer. Layer 11 I'm using, I'll call it pickup items. Okay, so back to knife, and just make sure that that sits on the pickup items. Yep, I'm going to change the children on that one. Same on that one, and same on that one. Okay, that's good. Now we have to make sure whenever we change layers for items, we have to go back to our first person controller and check our main camera main. Because it has a culling mask of mixed, it means that the pickup items are not currently checked, which means they will be invisible. So just make sure that you do check those. The only one that shouldn't be checked is targets, because we don't want those to be visible. Now let's, we've also got a second camera, haven't we? We've got the camera night vision. Just do the same with that. Okay, just so those items will actually show up. Okay, so they should all now be on the correct layers with the correct tags. Great. So now what I'm going to do is basically move them out of away from each other, if you like, so that the player can actually pick them up without actually picking two items up at the same time. So maybe I'll put the knife over there, put the baseball bat way up here, put the axe maybe way down here. And then finally for the handgun, I may set it like all the way over here. So because these are going to have a box surrounding them that you're going to walk into, you have to be careful not to put too many pickup items close to each other. Otherwise it's going to get confusing. Okay, good. So we've set that up. So what I want to do now is find the knife again, which is right there. So I'm going to get relatively close. So as we can see, when we click on the knife, it currently has a mesh renderer and an animator and a material, but we also need to give it a box collider. So let's go to component, physics, and box collider, and that sits nicely just around the knife. This is the area that is going to be used to detect if we can pick it up. So the raycast is actually going to find this box collider, anything within it, it's going to recognize you can pick that up. As soon as it leaves that area, all of this ground, it's going to recognize, well, you can't pick that up. So the pickup message will basically just disappear. All right, so box collider, I'm actually going to leave it as a box collider at the moment, which means that if you do get close to it, hopefully it won't stop you from walking, but you will be able to kind of step over it, which is strange. Now, if that's an issue for you, obviously just click is trigger. Okay, so for the knife pickup, I'm going to right click on it and choose a 3D object and a cube. Okay. I want this one to be roughly about the same size, but I want it to be wider in these two directions. In fact, maybe not. Yeah, okay, roughly about here. Alright, and what I want to do with that is just uncheck the mesh renderer, because all I really want is this box collider around it. But when your character actually enters into this box collider, it's going to tell Unity that the raycast should now start looking for a pickup, and obviously it will find a knife. As soon as you step out of this box collider, the raycast will not be looking for a pickup object. Okay, so you have to be close enough in order to actually pick up the knife. Now for this one, and I might call this one sort of knife cube or something, so that we know what it actually is. For this one, we are going to be setting this one to a trigger. Okay, and the layer pickup items, we want to set this one back to default. Okay, we don't want the actual raycast to be detecting this cube. We want it to only be detecting the trigger on the knife. Okay, so the collider on the knife. Tag, untagged, that's perfectly fine. You're not going to see this anyway because we've got the mesh renderer switched off. And in fact, actually, I can get rid of that. Remove that component altogether, so all we really need is just this box. Great, so that's set up. What I want you to do now is I want you to do the same on all the other weapons. So I just want you to put a box collider on each weapon if it doesn't already have one. And then I want you to create a cube by right clicking. In fact, yeah, you can just right click on that. On the baseball bat, make sure that your box collider actually sits on LOD0, and that's the same for the handgun as well. Just choose a part of the handgun, let's say maybe this, yeah, and just make sure that a box collider sits on that, because this technically is just it's a holder that holds all of these elements, so we want it attached to the actual physical mesh, if you like. So right click on any of these, 3D object, and create a cube, and obviously get rid of the mesh renderer. We just want the box collider, and in the next video we're going to be working on the script to pick these up.